I mean, you faded out too soon.
That's all that they have. That is the entire loop that's the only song button I have.
So it's a 3-second loop.
It is. Oh wait, I have another one. Hang on here.
I
But
mean, they can fade the music themselves off a little bit. You
I
know?
mean, I suppose I could do it. I don't really know how to work it, but I mean, this to me just screams us. Just
It
sassy.
does. It does. I like
punk.
it. Well,
Yeah.
let's get a proper introduction. Episode 3 of Dads Without Friends.
Hello, Michael.
Hi, Benjamin. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm
Good.
excited to talk to you. It's been a while. You have new glasses.
No,
You
these
have
are
a
not.
new shirt.
These are not new. These are not new at all.
They're new to me.
Well, yeah, I don't. I swear I wear them, but maybe I'm wearing a different pair every time we talk.
You weren't wearing them the last two. I just looked at the videos of our other things, and you're not wearing them.
Well, I do have a new pair coming too. They foobarred them up, but I have to go get them. So.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
you're high fashion.
Well, no, these are like $50 on Zenny or whatever. So there's nothing special to this.
So because something costs less, they're not special.
No, I mean I've had them for 3 years. Well, it's special because I have such a large head and I cannot find. It's hard to find glasses. It is.
It is.
It's
I'm with
really
you. My head is
difficult.
also big, and you have to shop by width of glasses.
Yeah.
Because you order them unknowingly, and they're way too small, and you look like Mr. Potato Head.
So the guy that is next to me in the
I'm saying like, I have that experience. Like,
yeah. So the guy that's next to me in my cubicle at work, he says he has a big head. It looks large, and he's like, I got Shady Rays. I'll bring them in. They're great. I put those on. They were so short getting back here. It was ridiculous.
so he only has a wide head, not the length between his ear and the bridge of his nose isn't that big.
Mine is massive. Apparently, it's really, really long, really girthy, if you will.
Good for you. Girth is a good thing.
Yeah. So
be proud to be girthy.
So my wife's out to dinner with some friends, and these are the children sleeping.
Ah, hello, ladies. Keep sleeping.
Please keep sleeping. They've had a fever on and off. Well, Frank was sick for like 3 days, and then Jane was sick for like 5. It was awful.
Yeah.
Awful. Just fever, and we got to get tubes for Frank. We got an appointment to see some specialist. Jane doesn't have to get tubes, but she's next level crazy when she doesn't feel well.
So part of like that right there is part of my hypothesis of why it's hard to make friends as a dad, because when you do want to hang out with other people, it's like, oh, I can't. My kids have daycare germs that are ever present. I don't know about your kids if they're at daycare, but like daycare germs are the worst. We should unleash them against our enemies as like germ warfare. It would like completely shut them down in their society.
Where's it come from? You know what I mean? Someone's got to bring them in. Where are they getting it?
Oh, I don't know. It's I think it's like the combination of like child touching other child. I think it's the combination. It's like a little germ party when the germs meet other germs. Like, hey, and then they breed like these super germs. I think it only gets there. Like
it creates itself at the sitters or at the daycare. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure, right? Because more than like 3 kids get together and you create super germs. There's like and like poop touches and everything gets in there.
You're 100% right.
Yeah, I mean, ask anyone that's watching more than 3 kids, and then especially in the winter. Like, but here's the other thing. I feel like once you've gone through an experience, I feel like once my kids are out of daycare, I think I'm never going to get sick again. I think I will just live the rest of my life and never get a cold.
Well,
it's the ultimate.
I don't normally get sick, and I've been getting sick a lot more lately. And I don't know if it's my older age or
kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like I mean, they're not like newborns. For like I feel like I've been trying to get the immunity. Like, where are these kids going to stop being sick? Like when are we going to be able to enjoy that? And I don't know.
When they're no longer, in daycare or at the sitter, when they're no longer with those other kids growing their other germs.
Right. And I have to constantly check the monitor because God knows they wake up, it's a bloody mess.
Yep.
Not really a bloody mess, but you know what I mean. It's just chaos.
Bloody mess is in you're a British man saying, "Oh, it's a bloody mess." Speaking
Exactly.
of British, you know what term I want to adopt?
Uh,
Reckon. Maybe that's more Australian. It's like, yeah, that sounds good. I reckon. Like
I reckon.
I want to adopt that, but I feel like
Is
I
that
don't know if I could.
Irish? Is that Irish?
I don't know. I don't know who says it, but I like it. It's like, but using it like at the end of a sentence and saying something I reckon is very. I feel like that's a very non-U.S. thing, right? It's like saying "isn't it" if you're British, like it's a bit cold outside, isn't it? That's a British thing, right? Like
It is.
the
Yes.
sandwich is a bit salty, isn't it? Yeah, like right, like I have a terrible accent, but
No,
I want to.
I love it. I want to keep listening to that.
Yeah, I know. I want to get. It's like your kids will get you sick. I reckon. Like, and I think it's Australian. I have a half brother-in-law. A half brother-in-law. He's a
What?
whole man, but it's my wife's half brother.
Got it.
So, which we just found out, which is amazing. Like it was through like the 23andMe, and it was like, guess what? Your dad slept with this lady 20 years ago, and he's from Australia. But it's totally like real. They did the test, and like,
Really?
yeah, she found a half brother like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. His name's Athron,
Athron?
which is Athron. It's an unusual name. He was technically born in New York, then he moved to Australia, and he looks like a skinny Hugh Jackman.
Huh.
And he's
Good.
great. He's
Good guy.
fantastic. Oh, great guy. The best. Yeah. He comes here like once a year, hangs out for a couple days, like after he goes to New York and does gigs and stuff and
What does he do?
messes with
Like
he's a
what? What?
musician. Like a
Really?
good, like a real like not I have these behind me, but that's like a fake out.
Do you
He's a
jam with
real
him?
no, he's too good. Like I would not it's
Ah. Well, but
we haven't
you can't ask him. He has to like kind of ask and bag a little
probably
bit, right? He's got to prod a little bit.
yeah. So the first time he came, he brought his stuff and he like played, and like my son was just amazed. He actually jammed with my son. My son, who was 3, who didn't know how to play, just he like strung a guitar like strangling a dead cat. At the same time, he was playing a very lovely, lovely song. But he's a real like actual musician who gets paid to like go even by himself and like play for hours to entertain like either at a bar or an actual gig with a band or
What kind of what does he do? Like what is his
he's a guitarist and a singer.
like solo?
Like he can do solo, but I think he does play with other people.
Huh. So
Yeah.
you weren't going to talk about him, but that's fascinating. What was
No, well,
what
just
were
the
you going?
Australian thing, just like, yeah, it's like, let's have a beer. Like a couple of beers sound good, I reckon. And I'm just saying, I want to adopt that.
Well, and I think we do have a friend that's Australian. We
Australian
should
Kyle.
yes, we should have him on sometime. Absolutely. Yes.
But
I'm
he's
not
not Australian.
no, I know.
We
And that's
want
what
someone who's actually Australian.
no, that's what makes it great. I want Australian Kyle to be in just Australian Kyle the whole time he's on our show.
Man,
That's
he
it.
puts Crocodile Dundee to shame. Like it is, the accent is dialed up to 100%, but it is flawless. Like he has perfected the fake Australian accent.
He could be telling me he killed my dog in that accent, and I wouldn't be sad. That's how enjoyable it is.
It is right. He can break any sort of news. We used to like invite when new people would join the group. He would do the accent, and we would try to convince him that he was actually Australian, and they would totally buy it. They're like, "Yeah, this dude's Australian."
Oh man, that's fantastic. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right, so I got a story for you.
Oh.
It's one that you're gonna have to endure, I think, at some capacity.
Oh
Uh,
no. Why do I have
yeah,
to endure it? It's bad.
it's because you're your dad. That's why you're a dad, and
Oh.
you have to do dad things, right? So when your
Okay.
kids get to the age of 13ish, you have to have a
Yeah.
talk. You have to have a talk.
Oh no.
Oh yes, oh yes. So, um,
The long shower talk. Like, son, the
no,
water heater is gonna break. We can't afford to have these long showers.
so I didn't know how to handle it, right? So my dad, when I was 15, said, "Don't be stupid. Wear a rubber." And I'm like, "What?"
In the shower?
No, just in general. Like that was his talk to me when I was
I knew you
15,
when you're 15.
14.
You weren't getting laid. You weren't
No,
getting laid. When
I
you were 15.
know. I know I wasn't. You and I know that. My dad, for some reason,
But you
must
were
have.
masturbating in the shower. I thought that's what this is about.
No, I mean, that's not what this is about. It's really not.
Oh,
But I
okay.
had through with Ben's school. He goes to St. John's Catholic school, and
Hmm.
there they teach him the biblical meaning of your body and the changes, and it's called theology of the body or something.
And
Right?
that is that
Did I
different
get
from
that right?
regular?
Yeah, he's sitting in the room playing PlayStation.
Like, is it like Jesus gives you pubes? Like, what is the difference?
No, no, it's not. It's more religious. It's more centered around God and the church, and
Yeah,
but then there's the role that the parent has to play and have, you know, the sex talk.
I
You know what I
see.
mean?
Okay,
So it's very, very, very vague, right? So I told Laura she had to sit in and listen to this
okay.
for various reasons, but one being she needed to be there unless Ben had questions, right? So questions that she needed to answer, not me. And so I had a conversation with Ben, and
You
he
don't know
was, huh?
because you're unclear on how sex works, or
No,
why would
no.
you answer that you couldn't?
Well, there's some certain things that like a mom has to answer and not a dad.
Can I
Uh,
have an example? Like, what's an example?
um, kind of put me on the spot here.
Yeah,
Uh, stuff
I
about
I just think,
stuff
yeah,
about the body for a woman's body, and
I see. You don't know.
no, but I
Like,
think it's
how many holes do women have? And you're like, son, I don't know.
there's a lot. There's like
I don't know
five.
what's going on down there.
There's like
It's a whole
there's like six. There's like seven holes.
six. Uh,
So
Wonderful.
yes, so it was interesting because I didn't think I was gonna have to do that, right? Or I didn't think about it because I never really
What's
had to talk. Having the talk, dude. Having the
I know.
talk.
I'm kidding. I
I
know.
know.
I know.
And did your dad have the talk with you?
No, no. I learned it from Skinamax. Everything
Yeah.
I learned about sex, I learned from scrambled porn.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Late night was
Yeah,
great. On
yeah.
demand was fantastic in college.
That's right.
But yeah, so like we didn't have like the formal talk, and I think this is something you're gonna do when your kids are old enough.
No, I'm
Nothing.
no. I'm not. I'm not giving the talk. I'm just like they'll figure it out from the streets.
Is that right?
No, no. Of course, I'm gonna have the talk.
Okay, it's
You
just
know
I'm
what?
just saying, like you can never be too prepared, and there wasn't a lot of questions asked, which is good, I guess. He's 13 and awkward and smiling at his beanbag while he's playing Madden. So,
So he has zero questions. To me, that tells me he already knows. I feel like kids these days know, right? Like,
hey Ben, when I
you
had
know,
the sex talk with you, did you already know things? He's shaking his hand like this.
okay,
What
he
is
knew
that?
some.
Yeah, do you want to elaborate or no? No, no, he's good. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to elaborate.
No, it's nothing bad. I
Yeah,
just don't want to.
Yeah, he's just not and that's how most boys at that age are. They don't want to talk about any of that stuff. They want to
right,
play. They want to play PlayStation.
right, and take long showers.
Yeah, we haven't really. I don't think I've gotten there yet.
Yeah,
To the
there's not much to get to. It's like that's pretty self sufficient, right? Like I didn't have to have a talk before I started taking long showers.
ridiculous. Ben, can you hear him at all? Okay, good.
He knows. He knows.
He
Ben, we
probably
all
does.
do it,
Yeah,
except for me.
yeah. Except for you.
But your dad definitely does it, because he's shameful.
Well, and
So
then
judge him accordingly.
real quickly, I said, Laura, I think you should do the talk. And she goes, well, if I do the talk, then you're having to talk with the girls because their Catholic upbringing. This is something that you're encouraged to have a a conversation with about,
Yeah.
So it's not coming from them. And I said, no, I'm definitely not doing the girls. Absolutely not.
I feel like your version of that is like never, ever, ever,
Right.
ever.
Scare them.
Like you would scare them. You'd be like, if you do it, you turn into a leprechaun. And
Man,
and
I think I played this wrong. I should have had this talk with you earlier.
you're like, kittens die if you let anyone else, join you in holy matrimony. I
Um,
don't know. I'm still curious to see what the difference is between like, because I remember going to McMillan Health Center and like learning, and that was pretty much the talk I had. I didn't really have a talk. My parents didn't bring this up.
Were you at Unity then?
No, no.
Okay, so
I was at school.
yeah. So you were at the rougher public school. Did you get the like? Because Laura told me there's two parts. There's one that's like PG-ish, more like private school oriented, Catholic, Lutheran, or whatever. And
Yeah.
there's another one that's a little bit more public, like more right to the point. And apparently they split the boys and girls up, and Ben's class went to the PG one, and the girls went to the the streets one.
What I recollect didn't feel censored. I have a vivid memory of watching a human being get pulled out of another human being, which was shocking to me.
Yeah,
It showed a lady giving birth, like they showed a
like knocked
baby,
up, like that part knocked up.
but much longer and not as funny.
Yeah,
It had no
so
down.
so that's the streets. That's the one
Yeah.
he did not get, and I don't remember it. So I must have got the PG one too when I was younger. Because I
You
don't
probably remember that because it was horrifying. Yeah.
I'm not saying knocked up was the first time, but it was like I don't remember that as a kid.
I'm trying to remember that movie. I feel like they only showed like a second of it. It was just like a little head poking out, and
Yeah.
like obviously it was fake.
Correct.
'Cause,
Yes,
yeah,
that's exactly right.
Bits.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. But no, this was real, and like, and again, to my recollection, felt very like it was on a film reel that they'd show you in school, like that quality, right? There wasn't like studio lighting. It was like dingy and like horrifying.
Did it look like did it look could it have went to like 70s porn style?
No, like there was nothing like. Well, again, I'm not watching a lot of 70s porn.
Well, you're missing out.
But it was horrifying, right? There was just it was a hospital bed, and this baby comes out, and everyone was very uncomfortable. You know how when you get the sex talk like in gym class, like an initial one, everyone's giggly still. Everyone's like tee hee tee hee.
No, never got that.
Oh,
I'm telling you, I got nothing.
well, if you have it, you can imagine how people would be giggly.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
You're using terms like penis and vagina. There was no giggles after they showed this lady birthing a human being. And now I've actually, since I've seen it in real life, and my wife, I did. Did you watch your own kids being born? Did you
Yes.
stay in the room? Were you there?
I mean, there was a C-section, so it was a lot of organs out. I accidentally made a peek in one of the times, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to see all that.
It's a lot. Yeah, I'm a little squeamish around. I don't think I could have saw a C-section. Oh, that's seesaw section. Saw a C-section. I don't. Yeah, because like organs out like really bothers me. Blood, I'm kind of okay with seeing like blood on the floor or something. Organs, hard pass. I gotta say no. I need those. I need some things to be a mystery, and what human organs look like. I want to remain a mystery for the rest of my life.
When Jane was born, they had me introduce her and say her name and her weight and all that. Right in the moment. Nailed it. And I mean,
nice.
it's on recording, so I'll send it to you. It's pretty.
Oh, please don't.
No, you're not going to see anything but the baby. You know what I mean? Me naming.
Okay.
You're not.
Yeah, still, it's probably okay. Yeah,
okay, fine. I may be that way. Oh, so the wrap up the sex talk story. The best part was I had Laura at the kitchen table with Ben and I, and my youngest Frankie was sitting there next to Laura listening or whatever 2.5-year-olds do,
Oh yeah. She
and
started repeating stuff.
she repeated one word, and it was hilarious. It was
Vagina.
it was vagina.
Very nice. Well, that's great. She has one.
Yes,
Cool.
she just goes vagina. It was fantastic, and that kind of ended the talk and went on from there. Right? He's like cheesing, goofball. So
Yeah. It's awkward having your parents have to talk about sexually explicit things. Like,
well, and I
I think
think it's more. I just want the comfort level to be there if he would want to have it, any of it.
for sure. Yeah. Like, on a serious note, like, my wife and I, we always talk like, we don't want to bring any shame about body stuff. We want to be like totally fine with it. You know, the solo stuff, obviously, like, we're not trying to bring shame. We want to be open, honest, and comfortable talking about it, so there's no mystery, there's no right, because that's when mistakes happen, right? If you're
Right,
uneducated, then it's like, what's a condom? Like, no, we don't want that, right?
right,
We don't want that stuff.
right. But there's a fine line. Like they can't get ridiculous with, oh, I'm gonna get piercings and things like that. There has to be a line where I'm not gonna let them explore and do, you know.
Sure. Well, I mean, I don't know what piercings you're talking about. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't
No,
want to.
no, not thinking about
Hopefully,
that.
hopefully, at any point, you wouldn't want to be involved in that decision. You know,
No, I'm
so
just talking even like ears or a nose. How about a nose, right?
yeah, you
I
don't
mean,
want to
I'm
be
probably
involved in a piercing.
no, I don't want my child to get one. Is what I'm saying.
Why not? Why not?
Well, I think that'd be when I'm there when that time comes. I don't know if I'm okay with it. I wouldn't be right now. I'm a little
Yeah,
bit more conservative, I guess. You know, that's where I see there's a fine line of
well, I think you'd get a couple of looks with having a 4-year-old with a nose ring, right? I think that
exactly, and that's my
yeah,
point.
yeah, and then I think also it'd be weird to find someone that'd be like, yeah, I'm doing this. I'll pierce your daughter's nose when she's 4. Like, yeah, I don't think that's not a good look.
No, so
Although
yeah,
there's probably like people around the world where like don't do kids have those in other cultures? Like, I feel like nose rings in other cultures are more popular and accepted than they are here. But do the kids have them? Like, isn't it an Indian thing? Like,
yeah,
in India,
hmm
the kids
yeah,
have them. I
oh
wonder
yeah,
if like I don't know. I'm very sheltered. Did you feel
yes,
like that? You grew up in Indiana. I feel like I was very sheltered, and not intentionally, and not in a bad way, but you just grow up in a small town in Indiana, and it's just you don't get a lot of exposure. Like, we weren't rich. I didn't travel the globe, and I just felt like there's a lot of stuff I didn't know. Like,
but
it wasn't.
you went to a middle up, you went to public schools and where I think you saw a lot more than most. You know, I don't think you were that. You were not inner city, but you were in a rougher school for a spell.
Yeah, the middle school I went to was, by my recollection, the second worst one in the city, and the worst one, Geyer,
Uh
for those
huh.
in the know, had metal detectors, and we didn't have metal
And
detectors.
guess what doesn't exist anymore?
Either one. I don't. Do
No,
either
no,
of them?
no. Yeah, yours does. Like, Geyer's no more.
Well, the principal, when I went there, and I never confirmed this, but I'm pretty sure he was a drug dealer.
Nice.
So yeah, he had two high end cars. He had like a Jaguar and like a Mercedes at the same time, and he's a principal of a middle school. He always used the payphone out in like the common area, which he's on that a lot, which I found that weird. And now just those two things is not enough. Now here's the kicker. Here's
Hold
what
on.
really sealed the deal.
Uh
Yeah.
huh.
What?
I was just wondering, did he have an office phone? Did he have an office with a phone? Like,
Of course he did. Yeah,
okay,
he's a
okay,
principal of
okay.
school. Like, but he's still using the payphone. But here's the kicker. I like on a hall pass one time walking around, he has these two dudes come with him that are walking behind him with these like leather satchel bags that have handcuffs from the bag to their wrist. And there's two of them walking behind him, like flanking him on either side. and they have these big leather duffel bags with a handcuff that is cuffed to the case and walking behind him through the school. Like, what is that? There's no official explanation at a school of like, oh, those are the new textbooks and we can't, or the tests. Those are the whatever the middle school equivalent of the SAT tests. Like, what else is that? Like,
Dude,
these were shit dudes.
what you just kind of described reminds me of like an 80s or 90s action like movie scene. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, yes.
That's a
Again, that
that's a thing. Like people handcuff like briefcases to your like. Come on.
listen, if I had to see it
And
myself, I wouldn't have believed it.
did you tell anyone?
I told everyone. Are you kidding? I mean,
Okay.
I'm telling you right now. I
No,
mean,
but in the moment, did you tell your mom and Bob?
yes. And they said, well, the two high end cars that he has in his driveway make a whole lot of sense. So my sister went to that school there, and they were like, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense because of his erratic behavior and his general demeanor.
God,
Like,
how did he have a job?
I don't know.
Because probably because no one wanted it.
I mean, maybe no one wanted it. Maybe nobody wanted to, stand up to a known drug dealer.
Do you remember his name?
I do. I feel hesitant to say it, but I'm going to.
Text it to me because my uncle was a principal in middle school for 30 or 40 years.
I feel like I should just say it. Can I just say it?
You can do whatever you want.
It's the last name was Green.
Green.
And he was Dr. Green.
Oh, he was a doctor, huh?
I mean, again, I didn't check his credentials, but that's what everyone referred to him as.
Dr. Green.
Listen, and I have no proof. Like, if somehow, like, I don't know, this would come back to bite me in the ass. Like, I have no proof, but those things happened, and I was suspicious, and that's the irrational conclusion that I jumped to.
You are spitting facts.
I am. I'm
That's
just
it.
spitting facts.
Yeah, you speculate on your own. Speculate on your own. You know.
Can I tell you about another fact that I just read that made me irrationally happy?
Yeah. Please tell.
Okay. Here's the fact. Red Lobster. Are you familiar with Red Lobster?
I mean, of course.
And
The
cheddar
biscuits.
biscuits. You know the name of the biscuits?
Is it not a cheddar biscuit?
It is, but it has a special name, and you have it half right.
Cheddar.
Okay, don't take too long.
Okay, I don't know.
It's Cheddar Bay biscuit is the name.
You had to throw bay in there.
Listen, I didn't name it. That's just what they're called.
Probably because there's Old Bay in them.
Any true American, no, Bay because it's a seafood place, right? Like Cheddar Bay.
Or like, hey, Bay, what's up, Bay?
No, that's
that kind of thing?
BAE, isn't it? This is BAY. Cheddar Bay.
Anywho, so Red Lobster, cheddar biscuits.
Yes. So Red Lobster had to take an $11 million loss because their shrimp fest was too popular, and people ate so much shrimp. They had all you can eat shrimp, and it put them out of nearly put them out of business. They had to declare bankruptcy, and some private person had to come in and buy.
I remember that happening.
It just happened.
No, I know. I mean, I'm
Yes. See, Cheddar Bay.
I had no idea Cheddar Bay biscuit was in there.
Being on the ball there. Like,
well, Ben looks at me. He's like, "We have some upstairs." I'm like, "Go get it." So he that's fantastic.
Okay.
So the all you can eat shrimp probably around Lent or whatever. So on Fridays or something. Is that basically what it was?
I don't know. It was just they didn't charge enough, and I think they were anticipating more people filling up on the biscuits and the salad because I think you could have all you could eat of that too. But people ate so much shrimp that they're like, yeah, we had to take an $11 million loss, and I read that, and I was so happy. Like, I feel like as an American society, like we did it, everybody. We finally did. We broke them. They said all you can eat, and we brought them to their knees.
I'm disappointed. I never did it.
Well, thankfully, I think someone else bought them, so you still have some chances to go back.
I doubt they're doing all you can eat anymore, though.
So here's what they're doing. So they did now they're doing a contest. So they don't offer it like wide open. They had a contest of like you could come in, and I think it was for lobster, and like if you won, you'd won this package like a free dinner, and it was and this is the best part. It was all you could eat lobster, but with limits. Like they literally, even on the special thing, they only gave away like 10. They're like, you can come in, but we're gonna cut you off after like 5 lobsters. So
That is awesome.
so I
Well,
have
because
something to share with you.
please do.
So for a while, I found, the names of the Red Lobster specials particularly fascinating. So I tried to create some of my own, right? Like Shrimptoberfest, right? Was what I assumed that was called or whatever. So I wrote some of my own, and I wanted to see if I could make you laugh. So are you ready? Are you ready to hear? Okay.
I'm ready.
So here's the now some of them, it's kind of like my pitch to Red Lobster, because if shrimp is too expensive, then maybe we should look elsewhere. So maybe we get cheaper things where you can eat. So maybe cod timber
Okay.
or oystober. Yeah, yeah. What
Okay.
about clamuary? It's like, oh, come into Red Lobster.
Clamuary?
Clamuary. Or what about calamarchi?
Calamarchi. Okay.
Calamarchi? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
like it.
okay, I got 2 more. We won't go on forever,
Wait,
but
did you cover all 12 months?
no, I can't. What could you make a June that is seafood based?
I mean,
Oh, here, pressure.
keep going. Keep going.
Okay, now this one you'd have to
Cheddar
charge.
May biscuits.
Okay, that was my capper. It was
Dang
cheddar
it!
bay.
Was it really?
Yes, that's the capper.
I stole it. I'm sorry.
You stepped on my bit. Oh,
No,
this whole lead up was to cheddar Bapril, and you stepped right on it. And
I
yours
just
might
said
be better. What did you say? You said
cheddar May biscuits instead of Bay.
God, yours might be better. Hi. What about? Okay, I got one more.
Okay.
Caviargist.
Ooh. I mean, August
Well,
is
that's
tough.
really
I think.
expensive.
Well, I mean, who's gonna eat it? Who's gonna go eat a bunch? Who's gonna go eat a bunch of clams and oysters? You know.
I know. I hate all that stuff.
Hey, come eat some cod. It's October. Let's go.
I think seafood is the insects of the ocean. I think it's disgusting. Like, oh, let's have a lobster. It's like that's an ant. It's an ant with and a spider. It's a gross spider insect of the sea. They used to feed lobster to prisoners. I love this stat. I tell everyone they used to feed lobster to prisoners because it was cheap and no one else wanted it. And then somehow through the years, we all decided it's like, oh, we dump butter on it, and now it's a thing we charge a lot for.
Yeah.
Horrible. It's horrible.
Well, so I'm a huge shrimp guy. Born in Florida, and my son is a shrimp fanatic. Every time I go to Florida,
boat captain,
right? But preparing shrimp fresh is utterly disgusting. I mean, you're removing the poop thing. You know what I mean?
Like they serve it right, like in a shrimp cocktail ring, like you have at a party. Like if you're not, you got to look. Like, oh, did I remove the feces? I don't remove feces from the hamburger I eat.
You're still cooking it though. You know what I mean? Like,
no, not shrimp. You're eating it cold.
Yeah, but you cook it first, and then you serve it cold.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't de-poopify the shrimp.
Correct. Correct. Before they put it in. Yeah, it's like a boil and all that stuff. Yeah.
So yes, the poop may be cooked, but I still don't feel that that is acceptable.
I know, but shrimp's really really fucking good. So,
yeah.
It's okay.
What about
don't agree with that? I just cussed.
What about all the little legs on it? You ever have a shrimp and it had the little legs on it?
Yeah, I always get rid of those. But I promise you. So St. Augustine has my favorite restaurant. It's where I was born, oldest city in America. And there's a restaurant called Osteen's, and they're
You're
shrimp.
The mayor? Why are you plugging the town?
I'm not, because it's It's my hometown, and it's the best seafood restaurant on the planet. I'd put it up
Okay.
against any other fried shrimp on the planet.
You're plugging the town and this restaurant. Are they? Can we sponsor them? Why don't you do a little impromptu commercial? What's the name of it?
Osteen's, best shrimp on the planet.
Come on down to Osteen's.
And
Get some.
make sure you have cash because we don't do credit card.
Oh, no, that's not how to sell it. I thought.
And we're open 11 to 9, or no, 11 to 7, 5 days a week.
Those are horrible hours. This place sounds miserable. You only,
Dude,
you know,
it banks. It absolutely banks, dude.
only a place that served good food could pull that off, right? Because garbage places aren't. People will be like, "What? You're open 5 days a week from odd hours? You're not open past 7? Never."
Yeah, they're closed on Sunday and Monday, and in those 2 days, all they do is prepare the shrimp for the next week. They only
They're
take cash, and they're open I think they take their last table around 7. Maybe it's 8 or 9 on the weekends, but
Yeah.
it's fantastic. Our family friend worked there as a server for 35 years, so she would sell us boxes that they get in shrimp, fresh shrimp for like $20
Yeah.
for 5 pounds. And we'd have shrimp fries at the lake. She'd come up and bring up that cornmeal they use. There's 3 antique stores next door and a bar that all have the speaker, the intercom for this restaurant.
To call you when your table's ready.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not there at 10:45 to get the first round of tables, you're collectively just waiting and waiting and waiting, and people do.
Listen, I believe you. Only a place that is good is gonna be able to treat their customers like garbage and not take credit cards and be like, "You have to be here by 7."
But I mean, it's so old school, and people just adjust. There's an ATM machine there, probably taking their $3 cut every time there's a transaction. But they actually have really good fried chicken too. And
is it? I assume the batter is what is what making everything, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So when you order the water, the ocean insects that you like, do you have to de-poop those things, or do they?
No, they do poop, and I've done it. I'm really slow at it, but they're fast, and there's a tool you can get. But you basically take the poop vein out, and you take a knife and butterfly it. Just cut it down the middle,
Wonderful.
And then you batter it and fry it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so good.
Ocean insects.
If we ever are in St. Augustine together, I'm taking you there.
Okay.
And you don't have to have shrimp. You can get, like I said, fried chicken. They have old school sides. Ben, what are some of the sides that are kind of crazy at Osteen's? Coleslaw's not crazy. He says coleslaw.
That's crazy. They cut up cabbage and they put it in mayonnaise. They're crazy there.
I think they do a tomato casserole. They just do it's old Southern style food.
That sounds really awful.
Well,
and I don't like shrimp. I don't like seafood. I'll eat fish. I don't want shrimp. I don't want shrimp or lobster.
What kind of you don't like any fish, or you will eat any fish?
No, I like fish. I'll eat fish as long as it doesn't come with a face. I don't want to see the fish.
Got it.
I want to have a relationship with it. But I don't like the thing with a bunch of legs. Right? I don't want to eat things with a lot of legs.
Crab, lobster, those take a lot of work too.
Yeah, right. There's work. There's gross. There's ick, and realistically, I feel like if you take somebody that doesn't have all these preconceived notion about lobster and you had them try it, they'd be like, "Yeah, this is chewy and weird. I don't like this." And you're like, "Oh yeah, put a bunch of garlic and butter on it." Yeah, you put a bunch of garlic and butter on anything, it tastes good.
Well, and I was just gonna say, I mean, I think that it's very underrated of how much that masks lobster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I feel like shrimp's the same thing. It's just
well, you got a good batter in the sauce that they have. There's nothing special to the sauce.
It's like ketchup on French fries, and people are like, "Oh, yeah, I can't eat French fries without ketchup." It's so just eat the ketchup.
I leave it.
Hot take: I hate ketchup. I don't eat ketchup.
I didn't know that.
It's disgusting. Really?
I always knew you got your cheeseburgers plain, but I guess never paid attention at a restaurant if you got fries.
No.
But
no. I mean, I'll eat fries, but no ketchup. It's all the worst parts of the tomato. I know it's a hot take. I don't eat ketchup.
Well, it's not for everyone. I think ranch is the most overrated condiment on the planet.
What?
That's a hot take.
That is kind of a hot take, especially you being a Midwestern fella, right? You don't put like I don't know if there's a Southern or Midwest, but like ranch on pizza, it works.
That's what ruined it for me. Was college at IU was
Oh yeah, right?
Big Ten, man.
Yeah.
Pizza
Oh man,
Express, and
I
then
wish that existed. Um,
and it's the times that
Oh man,
it's the time they forgot to give you all cheese and they gave you all ranch and it's all you had and it's just too much ranch. And then the girls, all they want is effing ranch, but they never eat it. So you're drunk.
their ranch was like watery and good. It wasn't like the super. It was like the watery ranch.
Correct.
Which
Yes.
if you're a ranch aficionado. Like I've talked to other ranch aficionados and they're like, oh yeah, the watery ranch. I know what that is. Like that's the good stuff. Like a good watery ranch is really good.
But yeah, you pull every girl we knew that went to college with. I would say 95% of them, it's ranch all day.
I feel like you ask anybody, it's ranch all day.
No,
because
cheese all day.
the nacho cheese, like it's weird. It's hyper color. It's not real cheese.
I don't give a shit. American Craft Singles are the best for cheese toasties and deli sandwiches, and they're fake. It's fake as shit.
It's gross. Eat real cheese. Seriously. Oh, by the way, I make an amazing grilled cheese. And that's right. I said grilled cheese. And I know we've argued about this. And I don't really want to open this can of worms.
You don't. You don't.
Yeah. I'm not 6, so it's not a cheese toasty. It's grilled cheese. So
you're out there you're on the Weber, right? Just getting stripes on that bitch. That's what you're doing.
No.
There's no grill involved. Got it.
I'm inside.
Oh, great. You're inside.
Here's the secret.
George Foreman?
Don't get mad at me. Just listen. So
I'm passionate about this, and you know that. I'm passionate about this.
Okay, on the inside, there's no American cheese. There's no Kraft Singles.
And that's fine.
There's actual cheddar, and there's provolone too. So I go, slice of cheddar, slice of provolone on the inside. But then on the outside, I do shredded cheese, like shredded cheddar cheese, and a little bit of garlic, some like minced garlic.
And you like toast it on there, right, to finish it off.
Put it on there, so you get cheese on the top layer and then cheese on the inside, and it makes and you kind of overcook it so it's almost brown.
Yeah, you toast it. You toast it so much it's got a crunch.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's a cheese toasty. It's a cheese toasty.
I'm not gonna call it that.
That's fine. Do you put butter on it too?
Of course,
butter and the cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, it swims in butter.
I'm gonna try that. What's the? Is it just cheddar? Shredded cheddar?
So here, I'm a bit of a cheese snob, as you may have picked up because I'm guessing.
No, definitely did not pick it up.
So the shredded cheese I use, I make sure it doesn't have wood pulp in it. You know, if you buy cheese that is pre-shredded, they put wood pulp in it.
So you get the block and shred it yourself.
Sometimes, yes, but there are brands that sell cheese that doesn't have, they call it cellulose, and they trick you and they say, oh, we put cellulose in here so it's an anti-caking agent. But if you dig into it and you research it, you find out how much each one of these companies, so your Crafts and your places like that, they can have like up to 7% of cellulose instead of cheese. That is that's like a big chunk of wood pulp instead of cheese in the shredded cheese.
And they're saving that much money by doing that?
Think about it. If that's your product, you save 7 yes.
It's ridiculous.
Why else would they do it?
Listen, I know American Craft Singles aren't but they're just what I grew up on. I mean, I make it amazing. You know this. I make amazing egg sandwiches.
You claim that, yes.
Wow. I made 20 once when we lived together. 20.
I'm just baiting you so the next time that we get together, you're like, oh, I'm going to make you one. And I'm just tricking you into
I think we should.
I dare you to make me an egg sandwich.
I think this is what we do. Okay. And it could be probably the cheese toasty grilled cheese off, right? We could do egg sandwiches another time, but I think we make 2 sandwiches each, obviously the same, and then you can have others try it, but we'll see whose cheese toasty or grilled cheese is the best.
I feel like I just gave away my secret sauce.
well. I mean, I am a game player,
You could make some shrimp, and we could see who could scoop the shit out better.
it's great. But yeah,
You want?
I was
have
just
another
gonna.
hot.
What's your hot take? Go.
So okay, my other hot take is, that I feel that we're all being tricked by liking cola as a flavor. Like you, what you're drinking when you order a Coke is the sugar rush, which is actually it's like fake sugar, just the fructose stuff, and the caffeine and the bubbles. And let me tell, and here's my proof. Nothing else in this world is cola flavored. Nothing else.
Well,
Everything
besides
else,
things that are masking or trying to imitate the flavor of actual Coca-Cola.
unless you're buying like the Soda Stream, like that, like you can buy the cola flavored, but it's for cola.
But I'm talking
nothing
about
else.
like suckers or Jolly, yeah.
At least that are popular, right?
Right,
But
right,
like, for instance, strawberry and cherry and orange, everything is flavored those things, right?
right. Yes.
Because they taste good. I think this harkens back. I think it's so bad. The flavor of cola is so bad. When they first invented it, they had to put cocaine in it to get people to drink it.
And that's where the name came from, right?
Exactly. Yes, it had cocaine. And I think we've just been living generational trauma from cocaine addiction in drinking this slur, this horrible flavored slur. Because I think if you again, it's the same thing as like the lobster. I think if you just isolate like everything else and take away this like notion of this brand of Coca-Cola, which by the way, now that I live in Atlanta, like Pepsi is even more undrinkable than Coke. And it's weird that I have that opinion, but still, um,
you're like one of the masses.
I am. But listen, it's because they're really good at marketing and branding. Take away that,
Poser.
and you give somebody that is from a remote tribe in Africa that hasn't entered society, and you give them this to drink. You're like, do you want this or water? Be like, this is horrible.
You're
like,
weak. You're weak. You're weak.
What, my take is weak?
No, you're weak that your love for Coke over Pepsi and other products because
Oh, that's just because it's even more disgusting. It's like sweeter and like even more horrible. But I don't drink either of them.
yeah, I mean I don't regularly drink either one.
I don't you find it odd that nothing else is cola flavored? Like, if it was such a good flavor, wouldn't other like there's root beer? They have root beer candy. Like,
Yeah, but
they have root beer like extract, so you can make root beer flavored cookies.
yeah, and there's like 700 Mountain Dew flavors.
Right? Well,
Mountain Dew might be more on the Coke or the
I feel
cola
like
side.
it's because it's citrus, right? And citrus again, lemon, lime, that kind of stuff. That's
I
good.
guess right, yeah.
That's all right. Yeah, and then they put what Code Red? They made it cherry. Like, I assume it's cherry. I've never drank one, but
Come on,
yeah.
you never had Faygo Code Red?
Code Red. I'm talking about the Mountain Dew Code Red.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Red Pop Faygo.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah,
that's the OG.
It's like knockoff Fanta, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, you're a Fanta guy. I'm not a Fanta guy.
I'm not a Fanta guy.
Orange Crush,
Orange Crush is all right.
Fanta, or Sunkist.
I can't drink any of them anymore. That's like I can't. It's all too sugary and like. But if I'm picking a soda, if you're like you have to drink a soda, I think orange soda. I'm gonna go with orange for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then speaking of ruining things, the
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, you were being like kind of a Debbie Downer to cheese, and all things like cola that we love. And you get it all; it's all bad for you. But I like watching those videos from like remastered footage from like the 20s and 30s, and how everyone walking around is super fit. They're not fat. Like there's not a fat person, right? And what the country has done to our food, and I don't want to get too in the weeds, but it's just crazy. And we're not tiny people, so we're not like we're a part of it. and it's
For sure.
it's insane the stuff that's illegal in most of other countries in food is like pumped into us here. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
no saint. I mean, I'm a glutton, like I'll do it. But
You're absolutely right. It's astounding. Here's a fun fact that I don't even think I learned this, is just kind of like somewhat figured it out and then fact check, and I was like, "Oh, I am right." Do you know King's Hawaiian bread? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say that?
please
When
don't.
rolls
Please don't
and like
ruin it.
big,
Please don't
like
ruin it.
super delicious.
Please don't
Do
ruin it.
you know why? Do you know
Please,
why it's not in the bread aisle?
please don't. Please don't. It's not. I didn't even know it was in the
It's not
bread.
bad.
It's on an end cap, isn't it?
Here's the thing.
Usually.
It's not with the other bread because there's too much sugar in it to
Oh yeah,
classify it as bread.
for sure,
It's
for
too
sure.
sugary. You're like, put it somewhere else. Put it in the deli, and then it's right next to whatever.
And that is America, uh, like saying it's too sugary, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's too sugary as an American classification.
On my
Which is
honeymoon, I went to some Caribbean island or whatever, and I did
I thought you
not.
were
I did not.
King's Factory.
What's that?
I thought you were going to tell me you went to the King's Hawaiian Factory.
That'd have been awesome.
That would have
But
been awesome.
I didn't enjoy the food. I thought it was tasteless, and I don't know. Would I continue to be disappointed if I went to France or Spain because I am wrongfully destroyed by the amazing sugary shit that we've been eating our whole life?
Yeah, everything has sugar. I've been trying to cut down on the amount of sugar I eat. Like they put sugar in literally everything. Like I was digging, I found oatmeal. I'm like, hey, oatmeal, healthy. I can eat this oatmeal. Um, and it's like high protein oatmeal and it's apple flavored. I was like, oh great. Flip that box over. There's like 20 grams of sugar. I was like, it had more sugar than my kid's version, which has the dino eggs, which is literally a candy. Like, and that's why he eats it. But it was like, at least they weren't like fooling it. Like dino candy oatmeal. It's like, it's half and half. I'll take it.
By the way,
Uh,
I'm gonna get some for my kids so they need it because they
I
don't eat a
mean,
lot.
yeah. But like the adult version had more sugar than the kid version. And it's
It's
horrible.
it's really sad, and I love food, right? I
I do too.
love trying different things. I watch a lot of cooking shows. I make a
Yeah,
great cheese toasty.
yeah, that's
Um,
what I hear. Prove
it's
it.
it's the word on the streets.
Prove it.
I'm a kind of a cheese snob. I don't know if you know that or not. I'll use them.
You're,
I'll use them American Craft singles and then take the Velveeta block and cut that off and put that in there.
oh my god! Don't get me started on Velveeta. It's not called cheese. They call it a product. It's product. We serve this product. It's
It's
not
got
food.
it's basically government cheese.
It's. I don't even. I bet government cheese is better. I don't know what it is, but it. But oh, by the way, fun fact. So when my half brother-in-law. I still don't know if I'm saying it because in my head it's just like
Just,
half a guy
just call me your
and his
brother-in-law.
half brother. When he was in town, my mother-in-law wanted to make a recipe with Velveeta cheese, so he and I will go to the store to try to find it, and he has never heard of it. And I'm like, he's in the cheese aisle. I'm like, no, mate, you ain't gonna find it there. Like that, it's on the shelf, I reckon. So
Full
we
circle. Full
all
circle.
there it is. We had to look all over for it and found it in like some, near the pasta or whatever. Not in the cooler, right? Like every other cheese is. It's, just sitting there because it's not refrigerated because it's not cheese. And I had to explain to him what this was. He's like, "What is this?" And it's like, it's fake cheese. And he's like, "Oh, I've heard about this. Like, why do you all eat this?" And I'd be like, "I don't know. I don't have a good answer."
Grew up on it. We had they made Velveeta block Tupperware. We had those to keep it fresh because when you fold that aluminum foil over, put it back in the box, and it shakes
hardens.
this. Yeah, get hard on the end. Yeah, so the
Yeah.
Tupperware box was legit.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, I know Connie had it for sure. Connie had it.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yes,
Fascinating.
it's generational trauma. So it's why we're eating this.
But seriously, have you been to other countries? Have you?
I've been to a couple other countries. Yes. Oh, which every time you talk to somebody that's like, "Oh yeah, I moved to France or whatever," and they're like, "I ate the exact same thing and I lost 50 pounds."
Uh,
It's like
yes.
everyone, yeah, yes, universally. So a really good example, like there's the pasta you buy in a box, right?
Mhm.
It's enriched, and then like what they do is like they basically take the wheat and like replace it with some sort of synthetic thing, and it makes you gain weight like crazy because you go to Italy and there's not people bulking up on pasta over there. It's because they eat real pasta, and the reason they do it is so they can make more of it faster, right? Which is so American. Because if you leave like regular whatever the wheat germ or whatever the thing is, it takes longer to dry, and it takes like 5 days to dry. But if you replace it with enriched pasta, it takes like 1 day to dry, so they can mass produce it faster. So look, and this is it's organic pasta is actually not messed with. And then so I did this experiment and I made the dish, the chicken dish I told you about. And I usually make it with the same pasta and I switched it to the other pasta and I ate the same amount and I felt completely different. The amount of like, when you eat too much pasta, it kind of hurts. Like
Yeah.
it kind
Oh
of like,
yeah.
oh my God, it kind of hurts.
It's worse now for me. I love pasta. I can't even finish spaghetti.
Try get non-enriched pasta. Go look for organic pasta. To me, it tastes the exact same. It'll take a little longer to boil. You eat the same amount, and you're like, oh, I don't feel bad. I don't feel terrible
You
after
don't feel like
eating.
you ate a ton of bricks.
Yes, I'm
God,
telling you. You
that's
want me to ruin cheese? You ruin pasta? You want me to ruin one more thing quickly?
no. I think you got to ruin basically everything. I mean, I kind of added to it. It's just I went to Brazil years ago with our friend Christopher, and
Oh
I
yeah,
I enjoyed the food. I knew it was blander, but I didn't wasn't as I guess get off my lawn as I am now. Like I'm grumpier about like
yeah,
I like things a certain way, and when it throws off my taste, it's kind of. I just think I also had shitty food at my honeymoon. I don't think it was that great. So
yeah.
I do want to go to like France, and Spain and Germany and
I think all those places have some of the best food in the world, right?
right.
Like I don't think we do food right over here, right? Like I know we do the whatever version of the extreme version here, but wait, I have to tell you this story now. We talk about ruining things, and I wanted to mention this because I think you might find it funny. Is your son into Harry Potter? Did you
No,
did you watch those movies?
no, never did, never did.
Okay, perfect. Let me ruin Harry Potter for you for two seconds.
Okay,
So I'm watching Harry Potter with my sister and her daughter, so my niece, right, and my nephew. So they had watched it for a while, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're kind of into this." So we're watching it, and I am being silly, and so I just said, "Hey, what if Harry Potter in this world, every time he casts a spell and magic happens?" There's a faint fart odor that just emanates after every time. There's a little poof. And no one mentions it because the wizards, right, they're used to it because every time they do this, they're like, oh, yeah, you don't mention the fart smell. And every time non wizard people see it, they're so amazed by the magic that they don't react to the smell either. Um, and so we're watching it. And then, sure enough, nearly every scene from when I mentioned it to on and on, they keep cutting to the actors, and the actors are making these faces after they do the spells. They're making these funny faces, and now I get texts from my niece and nephew like watching Harry Potter again. Like you've completely ruined it for me.
because
Like
every time a magic spell happens, they're
they've
thinking
like
about smelly poop.
now they think in that world, like they think about that conversation, they're like, oh, there's a tiny fart smell in there, and I totally ruined Harry Potter for them because it just I don't it was magical, like just it happened in like the next four scenes. They're like a poof alakazam, I don't remember it, and they're like poof, and then they cut to what's his name, Harry Potter with the glasses, and he's like and he just makes a face, and then they're like, oh man, that it could be they could smell a little bit of fart right there.
Well, so I've never been interested, but I've heard good things. Like I couldn't get into the God, what's the other one that's similar to it, but they're really long and drawn out. There was three movies.
The
Twin,
Godfather.
no, the same sci-fi ish, whatever you want to fantasy, whatever you want to call it.
Star Wars?
No, right around the same time of all the Harry Potters. The middle one was like a 3.5 hour movie.
Oh, the Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. I fell asleep during that movie. Never did them right. But I've heard Harry Potter's maybe a little bit more like captivating. There's too long of stretches, right? But like, would that be perfect for my 13-year-old to watch? It wouldn't be on brand of me to be like want to watch it just so I can relive the farts every magic spell.
I think you should. I think you should turn Harry Potter on for him, and then just be like, "Hey Ben, they don't mention this. You'd be perfect. Like in the books, they go into detail, but they don't do it in the movies. Like every time they do it, there's a faint, horrible fart smell that they all smell, and no one references it.
But I feel like I need to give the niece and nephew treatment you did. Have them get hooked for a couple movies,
and then ruin it. Yeah,
and
that
then
would be nice. At least they'd have the joy of experiencing it for a little bit before you just pulled the rug out from them. Yeah. By the way, Lord of the Rings is boring. I watched that second one too, and like the trees are talking. I was like, they're just walking. Like there's a gaggle of people, and they're just walking.
It's awful.
And I'm
shit.
a nerd. I think I'm a nerd. Like I like comic book movies and sci-fi. I love Star Wars, Star Trek, the Marvel stuff, like anything Batman and superhero. I'm all into it. But the Lord of the Rings, like it's so bleeding boring. I reckon.
But how many Harry Potters are there? Like 8, 7?
Oh, I don't know.
And
there's a lot. Okay. I tried to watch some. I was confused. I was like, wait, what's this? And they're like, oh, you have to read the book to figure it out. I'm like, no, I'm not committing all this. Like, I'm not doing the book and all this other stuff. No way.
That's great. Well, that's probably a good ending point there, Ben.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
I feel like we need to work on some imaging. I think we need to work some imaging, like fun fact. We just hit it when you're about to give a fun fact, because.
Oh, okay. Give a fun fact.
No, I don't have one right now, but you gave a lot of fun facts today, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh,
and I want more fun facts. I feel like I'm learning stuff.
I will tell you the best fun fact that I've ever learned the next time we do this. It's about my grandparents.
Ooh.
Before they started their family. It's a game changer. You'll like it. You're from Indiana. You'll dig it.
Yeah.
You ready? Excited? Was that a good tease?
It was a great tease. And that brings me to a family story I have from my dad's side in Florida. That'd be a good family conversation.
Does he own the world's oldest shrimp factory that's open from 2 to 4 on Tuesdays?
No, you're gonna love it. It's good. If you I don't think you've heard this story, but it is fantastic.
Okay.
So
excellent.
All right, buddy.
All right.
We'll see you,
friend.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll see you. Got to get that on a loop.